Hi students, today I am going to discuss about the environment chemistry. See, this lesson I am going to discuss about the pollutions, mainly the environmental pollutions like atmosphere pollution, then solid pollution, that means the soil pollution, water pollution and the industrial waste. So these things, some of the things we are going to discuss in this video. Now we will start the environmental pollution, then atmospheric pollution in this video. Look at this student, the environmental chemistry mainly the objective of this lesson. After studying this concept, you can understand that means the meaning of the environmental chemistry. Then you can define that definition of the atmospheric pollution, list for the global warming, greenhouse effect and the acid rain. These things also you can be easily understand. Then the appreciate the importance of the green chemistry in day-to-day life. These things this lessons we are going to learn. First we will see the environmental pollution. Here the environmental pollution is the effect of the undesirable changes our surrounding that have harmful effects on the plants, animals and the human beings. Here a substance which causes a pollution is called pollutant. When pollution means what? When the substance which causes pollution is called a pollutant. Pollutants may be solid, liquid or gas. Anything it may, that's gas means the atmospheric pollution, solid means the soil pollution, liquid means the water pollution. Even the industrial waste also, all these things contain the industrial waste. Here the first you must know that the average human being usually requires nearly the 12 to 15 times more air than the food. So the significant compared to similar level present in the food, the pollutant can be degradable, like discarded vegetables which rapidly break down the natural process that you know that biological changes occurs. Then the pollutant which are slowly degradable remain in the environment in the unchanged form for many decades. For example, the DDT, which is called dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane, the plastic materials, heavy metals, many chemicals, the nuclear waste, like this. So these causes the environment pollution. Then we will see the atmospheric pollution. So mainly the atmospheric pollution. First, the term, you know that the environment terms mean surroundings. So it comprises the following four major components like atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and the biosphere. First we will discuss the brief idea about the atmosphere. That atmosphere is the cover of gases that extend to a height of about 1600 km above the surface of the earth and protects the life on the earth from the harmful radiation, which is called the cosmic rays coming from the sun or the outer space. So this is called the atmosphere. The atmosphere, that is the function of the atmosphere, mainly it contains all those gases which are essential for the existence of life on the earth. For example, oxygen presently required by humans and animals for the respiration, and the carbon dioxide is needed to the photosynthesis of plants, and nitrogen, which is present in the vital component, is needed for the plants indirectly, as it is the first converted into water soluble compounds like ammonia and then added to the soil. Mainly the second thing is it is an important carrier of water vapors which are needed for all form of the life. Then the ozone is the very important thing. Ozone is present in the absorb the harmful UV radiation, the ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun, and thus the protect life on the earth. Then it maintains the heat balance also. It maintains the heat balance of the earth by absorbing infrared radiation, that is called IR radiation, coming from the sun and those re-emitted from the earth. For the same reason, it controls weather and climate conditions also. Then temperature of the atmosphere. The temperature of the atmosphere, mainly different part of the atmosphere reflect different amounts of heat of the solar radiation. So the temperature of the atmosphere varies from minus 56 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. Different type of, for example, that is the region like troposphere, stratosphere, ozone sphere, mesosphere, thermosphere. That is the range of the altitude from the earth and surfaces for a troposphere is 0 to 11 kilometer. That is a troposphere. After that, stratosphere, that is 11 to 50 kilometer. That means the temperature range, first troposphere is minus 15 to minus 56 degrees Celsius. That is decreases from temperature range 15 to minus 56 degrees Celsius. Then the stratosphere or ozonosphere, which is called that ozonosphere, 11 to 50 kilometer, increases from minus 56 to minus 2 degree Celsius. Then the gases are present: nitrogen, oxygen, ozone, and oxygen atoms also. Then the mesosphere nearly the altitude from the earth's surface is 50 to 85 kilometer range. Then the decreasing from the temperature minus 2 to minus 92 degrees Celsius. Then the thermosphere, that is 85 to 500 kilometer range. Then the increases from minus 92 to 1200 degrees Celsius. The gases are present like O2 plus ions, O plus, NO plus, electrons, many things are present in the thermosphere. Already I said that this is the region of the atmosphere. First the earth, then troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, then the thermosphere. The range of the kilometer like this is the altitude from the earth's surface. Okay, that is the kilometer, and the temperature also I mentioned. Mainly, I am going to tell you the troposphere. The troposphere is the most important region of the atmosphere because it is the domain of all living organisms, including animals and plants. So this is the region which is greatly affected by air pollution. Further, this is the region which contains water vapor, which are essential for the living organism. Then the 80% of the mass of the atmosphere in this region. Then the temperature of this region decrease with altitudes and minimum at about 0 to 11 kilometer. So this point is called tropopause. Okay, the 11th kilometer is called tropopause. In the next region is namely called stratosphere. The temperature begins to increases. So thus the tropopause is the point of the temperature inversion. The ozone present in the stratosphere absorb the harmful UV radiation coming from the sun and thus act as a umbrella for the UV radiation for the living organisms on the earth. So due to the presence of ozone layer, this region is also called ozonosphere. Okay, that stratosphere is also called ozonosphere. The rise in temperature is due to the absorption of the UV rays which is converted to heat. Then the mesosphere and the thermosphere, that collectively called ionosphere. These two are collectively called ionosphere, contained in the ozone, that is ionized form. These ions reflect back the radio waves to the earth. So this forms the basis of the wireless communication. See, the tropospheric pollution occurs due to the presence of the undesirable solid or gaseous particles in the air. So the following mainly the gaseous and the particulate, usually gaseous air pollutant and the particulate pollutant. The gaseous air pollutant usually oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of carbon, then hydrocarbons. In that particulate pollutant, smog and the photochemical smog. So these things we are going to discuss. Now first the oxides of the sulfur. The oxides of the sulfur, that is in the gaseous air pollutant, mainly gaseous air pollutant. The oxides of sulfur are produced when the sulfur containing fossil fuel is burnt. The most common piece of the sulfur dioxide gas, this is the SO2 gas, is that poisonous to both animals and the plant. It has been reported that even a low concentration of sulfur dioxide causes the respiratory problem, the respiratory disease. Example like asthma, like that the human beings facing the problem. Then the sulfur dioxide causes irritations of the eyes, resulting to tears and redness, like that. Then the high concentration of the sulfur dioxide leads to the stiffness of flower buds, which eventually fall off from plants. That uncatalyzed oxidation of sulfur dioxide is slow. However, the presence of the particulate matter is polluted in air catalyzes the oxidation of the sulfur dioxide to the sulfur trioxide. Here, this is the equation. The sulfur dioxide gases react with the air to convert the sulfur trioxide. Then the sulfur dioxide react with ozone. React with ozone. What happens? It converts to sulfur trioxide and the oxygen gas. See, this is the reaction is promoted by the ozone and the hydrogen peroxide also. This liquid hydrogen peroxide liquid and the sulfur dioxide gas, it converts to what? The sulfuric acid. So this is the oxides of sulfur. The next thing, oxides of nitrogen. Here the oxides of nitrogen, the dinitrogen and the dioxygen. Here the dinitrogen gas and the dioxygen gas are main constituent of the air. Main constituents of air. So these gases do not react with each other at the normal temperature. That is why here the temperature range, look at this temperature range, 1483 Kelvin temperature range. That is that high altitude, when the lightning the strike, they combine to form oxides of nitrogen, which is called NO2. That is, NO2 is oxidized to nitrate ion, that is NO3 minus, which is washed into soil, where it serves as a fertilizer. In an automobile engine, at the high temperature, when the fossil fuel is burnt, the dinitrogen and the dioxygen combine to yield significant quantity of the nitric oxide. This is NO, and the nitrogen monoxide also called, and the nitrogen dioxide, NO2. This is the nitrogen dioxide. When the nitrogen monoxide react with the oxygen to form the nitrogen dioxide. Here that rate of the nitrogen monoxide, this nitrogen monoxide reacts instantly with oxygen to give the nitrogen dioxide. Then the rate of the production of NO2, nitrogen dioxide, is faster when the nitric oxide react with the ozone. See, ozone, the stratosphere, like NO, nitrogen monoxide gas react with the ozone to form nitrogen dioxide and the oxygen gas. So this is the irritant red has in the traffic and the congested places in the due to oxides of nitrogen. The higher concentrations of the NO2 damage the leaves of plants and retard the rate of the photosynthesis. Next is the hydrocarbon. Here that hydrocarbon. The hydrocarbons are composed of the hydrogen and the carbon. You know that carbon and hydrogen contains only called the hydrocarbons, and it is a incomplete combustion of fuel used in the automobile. The hydrocarbons are highly carcinogenic. The carcinogenic means they cause cancer, they harm plants by causing aging, like that. The breakdowns of tissues and shadings of leaves, flowers and twigs. Okay, this is called the hydrocarbons. Next we will see the oxides of carbon. The oxides of carbon, carbon monoxide and the carbon dioxide. The carbon monoxide and the carbon dioxide. First we will see the carbon monoxide. The carbon monoxide is the one of the most serious air pollutant. It is a colorless and odorless gas. It is highly poisonous to living beings because it is ability to block the delivery of oxygen to the organs and tissues. So it is also produces that results of the incomplete combustion of the carbon. So carbon monoxide is mainly released into the air by the automobile exhaust. The other sources which produce the carbon monoxide involve the complete combustion of coal, firewood, petrol, like that. The number of vehicles has been increasing over the years all over the world. Many vehicles are poorly maintained and several have inadequate pollution control equipments, resulting in the release of the greater amount of the carbon monoxide and other polluting gases. Then the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is released in the atmosphere by the respiration, burning of fossil fuels for energy, and by decomposing of the limestone during the manufactures of cement. It is also emitted during the volcanic eruptions. The carbon dioxide gas is confined to tropospheres only. So normally it forms about nearly 0.03% by volume of the atmosphere. So with the increased use of the fossil fuels, a large amount of the carbon dioxide gets released in the atmosphere. Excess of the carbon dioxide in the air is removed by green plants, and this maintains an appropriate level of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So the green plants recur to carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis, and they in turn emit oxygen, thus maintaining the delicate balance. See, as you know that deforestation and the burning of fossil fuel increases the carbon dioxide level and disturb the balance in the atmosphere. So the increased amount of the carbon dioxide in the air is mainly responsible for the global warming. Global warming and the greenhouse effect. The global warming, mainly that about 75% of the solar energy reaching the earth is absorbed by the earth's surface, which increases its temperature. So the rest of the heat radiates back to the atmosphere. Some of the heat is trapped by gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, then ozone, then the chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, simply called CFC, and water vapors in the atmosphere. So thus the adding the heating of the atmosphere, this causes the global warming. We all know that the cold places, flowers, vegetables and fruits are grown in the glass covered areas called greenhouse. So here the greenhouse, you know that we are not surrounded by glass, but the blanket of air called its atmosphere, which has kept the temperature on the earth constant for centuries. But it is now undergoing change slowly. Just as a glass in the greenhouse hold in the sun's warmth inside. Atmosphere traps the sun heat near the earth's surface and keep it warm. So this is called the natural greenhouse effect. This is called the natural greenhouse effect because it maintains the temperature and makes the earth perfect for life. In a greenhouse, the solar radiation passes through the transparent glass and heat up the soil and the plants. The warm soil and the plants emit the infrared, that is IR radiation. So since the glass is opaque to the infrared, that is IR radiation in the thermal region, it's partly reflects and partially absorb these radiation. This mechanisms keep the energy of the sun trapped in the greenhouse. Similarly, carbon dioxide molecules also trap heat as they are transparent in the sunlight, but not to the heat radiation. If the amount of carbon dioxide crosses the delicate proportion, I said that is 0.03%, the natural greenhouse effect balance may get disturbed. So the carbon dioxide, the major contributor to the global warming. Then beside the carbon dioxides, other greenhouse gases are methane, water vapors, nitrous oxide, then the chlorofluorocarbon CFCs and ozones. Usually the methane is produced naturally when the vegetation is burnt, digested or roasted in the absence of oxygen. So the large amount of methanes are released in the paddy fields, coal mines, from the rotting, garbage dumps and by the fossil fuel. Then the chlorofluorocarbon CFCs also damage the ozone layer. Then the nitrous oxide occurs naturally in the environment. In recent years, their quantities have increased significantly due to the use of the chemical fertilizers and the burning of the fossil fuels. Okay. The next we will discuss the acid rain. The acid rain, normally the rainwater has a pH value. The pH value 5.6 due to the presence of the H plus ion, that is hydrogen ions formed by the reaction of the rainwater with the carbon dioxide. See, the rainwater combined with the carbon dioxide gas to form the carbonic acid H2CO3, which is called that in the soda water gas. This carbonic acid, it's dissociated into H plus and the HCO3 minus ion. See, when the pH value below 5.6, it is called acid rain. Okay. So this is mainly called acid rain. Next, we'll see the acid rains refers to the ways in which the acid from the atmosphere is deposited on the earth's surface. Now we'll see the diagram. See, you can see that the acid deposition, the sulfuric acid, the nitric acid, how that form that dry fallen damage to the vegetations, then the acid fog, acid rain, acid snow, the damage to the aquatic life in the danger. Mainly, see, the oxides of nitrogen and the sulfur, which are acidic in nature, can be blown by wind along with the solid particles in the atmosphere and finally settle down either on the ground as dye deposition or in the water. So fog and snow as wet deposition. You can see in the diagram. The acid rain usually in the byproduct of the variety of human activities that emits the oxides of sulfur and nitrogen in the atmosphere. Already we seen that the burning of the fossil fuels which is contain the sulfur and the nitrogenous matter, like that type of the fossil fuels such as coal and oil in power station and furnaces or petrol in the diesel in the motor engines produces the sulfur dioxide gases, the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen oxide. So sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen dioxide after oxidation and the reaction with water are major contributor to the acid rain, because the polluted air usually contains the particulate matter that catalyze the oxidation. So the sulfur dioxide react with the water to form the sulfuric acid, nitrogen dioxide react with water to form the nitric acid. Usually the reaction, the presence of air takes place. Then the ammonium salts are also formed and can be seen in the atmospheric has, there is aerosol of fine particles. The aerosol particles of oxides or ammonium salts in the raindrops result in the wet deposition. Then the sulfur dioxide is also absorbed directly on the both solid and the liquid ground surface and is thus deposited at the dry deposition. Already we seen that diagram. The acid rain in the harmful for the agricultures, trees and plants as it dissolves and washes away nutrients needed for their growth. It causes respiratory ailments in human beings and the animals. When acid rains fall and flows groundwater to reach rivers, lakes, etc. like that, it affects the plants and animals' life in the aquatic ecosystem. it is corrodes water pipes, resulting in the leaching of heavy metals such as iron, lead and copper in the drinking water. So acid rain damages building and other structures made of the stones or metal. Like you know that the Taj Mahal in India has been that affected by the acid rain. And next class we will discuss the particulate pollutant. Hello students, today we discussed about the environmental pollution, then the atmospheric pollution. The atmospheric pollution we were seeing the tropospheric pollutants like gaseous air pollution, the gaseous air pollution like oxides of carbon, oxides of sulfur, then oxides of nitrogen also we were seeing. Then after that we were discussing the acid rains and that acid that pollutants like this pollutants in water. So these things we were seen in this video. Next video we will discuss the particulate pollutant. Thank you.